Live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, this is the Great Dane Huddle, featuring Badgers legend and special guest host, Barry Alvarez.
I'd love to coach a game like that.
Oh, man.
They may not see a pass in the second half. And that would be the shortest second half in Camp Randall history. I'd run that clock. That game would be over. We'd be home having cocktails at 3:30.
On 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand. Alongside former Badgers Derek Engler and Tarek Sala, here's Alex Gravatt.
The bowling streak ends, and the Badgers lose to the Minnesota Gophers in a game that really is just a gut punch to Wisconsin fans everywhere. I'm Alex Gravatt, alongside Tarek Sala and Derek Engler, live from Fitchburg, the Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez. Coach Barry Alvarez joining us live from his undisclosed location. But guys, let's not beat around the bush here. What'd you make of this Badgers loss, Derek?
Oh, well, I mean, come on. Gut-wrenching. 22 winning seasons. You know, that's going to happen. I mean, for me, personally, being from Minnesota, it's just gut-wrenching because of the trend. We're 1-3 the last 4 years. Prior to that, we were 23-3, going back to 95. You know, that axe was ours. And last 4 years, it's not. And I especially, I'm not a fan of PJ Fleck, you know, and I hate to see that. It's gut wrenching.
Yeah, and you know, obviously no bowl game, or at least right now, no bowl game. No, we didn't qualify with the 6 wins, and all that time to practice, that time to recruit, all those things that you could bring the team closer together. That's out the window for now, at least, unless we go to we make a bowl up somewhere. I don't know how they're gonna do that. But anyways, it's gut wrenching, as Derek said, and obviously I think Coach probably would echo that.
Yeah, I would say, you know, we work so hard because really when I took the job, we'd only been to 5 bowls in the history of the school, and won one minor bowl game, and all of a sudden, we've got 20-some in a row. No one more than anyone else in college. You know, we're doing something no one else has done, and to allow that to slide and go away is hurtful. It really bothers me. It really did, and I just hate to see that happen.
Now, Coach, you said it bothers you, and obviously no one's happy to see us lose to our closest rival, the longest-standing rival, the Paul Bunyan's Axe. But what is the greater impact of this loss on the Badgers this year? It's not just the game, it's the bowl streak, it's going to a bowl. What does all that mean for the Badgers?
Well, Derek mentioned a couple of things. It's 20-some practices. Now, our guys are done. You know, they're in semester break probably right now. They won't come back for a month. That's a month of doing nothing. And then you come back and you have some sort of you start out a season conditioning, but there's no purpose. And so instead of a month of really being focused on preparation for a bowl and getting your young players better in preparation, preparing them for next year and the future, you lose all that. And you lose momentum that we've had like forever. For 20-some years, that's been part of our DNA, that you just keep going. And then after the bowl game, you take a break. So they lose that. I'd hate for our players to not have that in their makeup and then their yearly schedule.
No doubt. It's like another spring ball. So you get your winter practice right before the bowl game, and then you get your spring ball, Derek, right? I mean,
it's critical. Like Coach said, they go away and do nothing, and that's never a good thing, especially for your young players.
When you were a young player, Derek, what was that like when you got to go and do these pre-bowl practices?
Oh, man. I was like spring ball, like Tarek said, because it was about the young guys. It was about getting the young guys ready. It was so important for me. I needed every rep I could take. There's no question.
Yeah, me too. I mean, going that Rose Bowl year, got to go practice hard for the month of December and then playing the game. And then that spring, it just made it a little bit the light bulb was turning on in terms of actually understanding the game better and doing all those things. That you jump, you make major strides by having those practices. Go ahead, Coach.
You put the guys a year in advance. You jump them a year. Instead of going home and drinking beer and having fun with their buddies over Christmas break, they're doing football. They're in football practice.
Yeah.
So it's just good for the program. That's the way you build programs. I worked so hard. I thought it was so important to get to a bowl game, and so to lose that is to me is meaningful.
Coach, you just brought back a memory for me. 1992. I was a year ahead of Tarek. I redshirted. Tarek did not. So we came out the same year, but we were close. We were right there. The Freedom Bowl out in Anaheim was ready to offer us. We had to go to Northwestern. I believe Jason Burns fumbled. We were in field goal position. I don't recall the whole thing, but we were right there, ready to win that game, accept that bowl invitation. Instead, to Coach's point, I went back to Minnesota, and I'm with my high school buddies drinking beer and doing nothing. And that's the difference. I mean, that is the difference. That is so important for these young guys because they're not mature enough to know what it takes to succeed. And that bowl preparation is so important for practice and repetition.
I was safer on the field than off the field. The chance of me getting injured was significantly more off the field. Once I got on the field, then I was healthy.
844-770-3776. That's your way into the show. We've got two former Rose Bowl champions and the godfather of Wisconsin athletics, Coach Barry Alvarez, all on this show today. They want to hear from you. 844-770-3776. This is the Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez on 100.5. And in the backs were against the wall, against your biggest, most intense rival, bowl game eligibility on the line, and the Badgers really did roll over and provide kind of a pedantic, boring, lame excuse for a game. Coach, when you see that, what are you learning? What are you thinking about this team as nothing seems to be clicking and there seems to be no fire?
You kind of said it all right there. I don't have to add anything to that. You're playing for a bowl game. You're playing a rival that it's a big rivalry, and I learned that a few years into my tenure. The Minnesota game is a huge rivalry, and it's an important game, and you have to win that game, and you have to put a lot into that game.
Coach, how did you learn that was a big game?
We lost a few times, and I hired a guy named Jim Huber who had been at Minnesota, and he came down and we're getting ready for that game, and that Sunday, the week prior, a week before the game, and he says, "Do you realize how much time and effort and the emphasis that Minnesota puts in on this game?" And I really hadn't. I treated it just like another game. And he says, "No, you can't." They treat it much bigger. They make it a big deal. And if you don't, they're going to keep beating us. And from that day on, I made it a big deal. I mean, and players know this. When coaches do things differently, they get out of their routine. And I would tell my guys, get excited at practice. Pick up your step. Raise your voices. Do things to show them this game is different. It's bigger. And, from that point on, we did much, much better.
From that point on, like I said, from 1995, and I believe that's when Coach Huber joined the staff, right around there, maybe a year before, which the year before we lost at the Metrodome because Darrell Bevel threw 5 picks and we didn't have our own line coach at that time. But from that point, we were 23-3, Coach. In the last 4 years, we go 1-4. So I don't like the trend. I fear we're losing exactly what you were talking about, and that message needs to get conveyed back to the players.
You know what? I don't know if I've ever had this conversation with Luke, but I probably should, because I didn't know the history of the game and how it should be approached until what I just shared that with you. But I probably should have that with Luke, because maybe he doesn't understand it. And there's no one on his staff that's been through the history of it. So that's something we probably could do, Tarek and Tarek.
All right, we have callers, 844-770-3776, but we do need to get to break. So coming up next, we're going to hear from you, 844-770-3776. This is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN.
Veteran Tarek Engler and UW Athletic Hall of Famer Tarek Sala on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Are you just getting the questions?
The GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. GRB Academy wants to be part of your plan to reach your potential. Utilize GRB Academy's 52,000 square foot facility, 14 batting cages, and 6,000 square foot weight room. Personal lessons at the GRB Baseball Academy are available year-round. With over 300 college players and over 150 Division I players, GRB has consistently led the way in the Midwest for college recruitment and player development. Visit their website, grbacademy.com, for more information. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
RE/MAX Preferred has been a James Imaging Systems client for over 20 years. RE/MAX Preferred CEO Daniel Bertelson.
James Imaging is one of the vendors that we use to move all of our documents and set up networks and utilize their equipment for scanning and storage purposes.
James Imaging Systems, for over 40 years, a local 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed business technology company.
James Imaging has gone through a lot of evolutions over the years, and the one thing that has remained constant is their customer service and their follow-up.
That's important.
Extremely important. When we don't know what's going on, we can't let other people know what's going on in the company, and we get angry people.
And
James Imaging helps us keep people happy.
Are your people less than happy with your current business technology vendor? Then switch to James Imaging Systems. Call 608-221-3457. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Prairie Athletic Club is the ultimate destination for health, wellness, and crushing your goals. This is Sarah Tauscher. Say goodbye to post-workout aches and pains at the Pack's new Recovery Zone. With their assisted stretch and pneumatic boot sessions, you can get instant results, leaving you feeling refreshed and ready to tackle your next workout. Don't believe it works? Give it a try. Stop in, stretch your body, and relax your mind at the Pack. Visit prairieathletic.com to learn more. Prairie Athletic Club, family fun community.
Kringle, all I want for Christmas is you.
Dad!
What?
We talked about this. Yeah, your jingle for your Kringle entry last year was so lame that Racine Danish Kringle banned you from their contest.
I thought it was only a one holiday season ban.
It was a lifetime ban.
Well, I guess I'm out, but here's how you can enter our ESPN Wisconsin Racine Danish Kringle Jingle for Your Kringle contest on Wilde and Tausch. Submit your own original jingle to ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Then we'll pick the most creative songs, and our grand prize winner will get Kringle for a year. Make sure you include Racine Danish Kringle. It's not just a a treat, it's a tradition in your jingle. If you don't want to sing, but you still want to celebrate the holidays with Racine Danish Kringle, call 800-4DANISH or visit Kringle.com and order their all-new Eggnog Holiday Kringle.
Racine Danish Kringle, such a tasty, yummy treat. With a flaky crust and sweet icing, it's the best thing you can eat.
Oh, like that's so much better than mine.
Well, at least we're not off key.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 100.5 ESPN.
Lillard's going to tee up a three, and he splashes it through for the left wing.
Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, the official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
The Giannis domination continues over the weekend as he drops a 42-point triple-double at home against the Wizards.
Washington continuing to fight and claw. Giannis down the lane, sends it down with a monstrous two-hand slam. Giannis, take no prisoners.
But he's been amazing because he's scoring, but more importantly, he's getting everybody involved.
42 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. Milwaukee Bucks now 10-9 on the season. Their 6th straight win. They get back in action on Tuesday night, their final group play game for the NBA Cup. They're in Detroit to take on the Pistons at 6 o'clock.
This has been your Milwaukee Basketball Report on Madison's home for Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra. On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
I got some good friends that live down the street. Got a good-looking woman with her arms around me. Live in a small town where it feels like home. I got everything I need and nothing that I don't.
Continued reaction to the end of the Badgers season, the end of the Badgers bowl streak, and the end of the Badgers positive season streak. This is ESPN Wisconsin and the Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia, located right off Interstate 90. It's only minutes away from Madison. They treat people the way they'd like to be treated, and that's why they are up 78% over last year.
G-Man, you realize that they ended callers for Sal and I a long time ago for a reason.
Oh, no.
I mean,
Janesville Kia
we
will
get
never
a little fired
hang up
up.
on you.
If the caller usually was stupid and we call him out, and we shouldn't do that.
It wasn't Janesville Kia.
No. The people all over Wisconsin have experienced the difference that Janesville Kia has made, and you two make a difference.
We
in
love
a
Janesville
very
Kia.
different
We
way.
love Janesville Kia, and we welcome the callers, and let's see if we can make this work.
All right, Jack and Jonas, I hear that you think we need to go backwards to go forward. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm about 26 years old. Yeah, I'm about 26 years old, grew up in Madison, been a Badger fan my whole life. I feel like the team has truly lost a sense of identity. And I'm remembering what Jeff Petrakis said recently when we said, let's not measure this season by how close we were in some of our losses to teams like Oregon and Penn State, but really let's focus on what it was like when we played Nebraska and Iowa and Minnesota. Those teams have identity, and those teams used to be our little brother. I think now they've really flipped the script on us.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Tarek, Derek, you have any ideas on identity versus these other teams?
Yeah, well, we certainly have to establish that. We haven't established that this year, and it's been a struggle. And I think that's something that Coach Fickell is going to have to work on this offseason. We got a new offensive coordinator, so that will add to it, but certainly have to establish that.
Well, there's no question. I mean, we just talked about it. The trend 1-3 with the Axe the last 4 years. Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken, had only beaten us once before entering the league. And I believe it was at their place in 2012 or 13.
Before they entered the Big Ten?
Yeah.
I think Coach Alvarez has something to say about that. Coach, didn't you have an interception that could have been returned for an interception, but you got, or for a touchdown, but you got chased down by an offensive lineman? Isn't that what happened there?
Some Jake leg, like the slowest guy on the field. Actually, I ran into him because I ran out of gas. I got rigor mortis, so I couldn't bend my knees. Rigor mortis. I ran 25 yards. That's all further I could run.
Coach, do you see an identity in this Badgers team right now?
I see that. We don't have anything that we hang our hat on. At one point we could run the ball, we couldn't throw the ball, but we could run it on anybody. Then we were balanced. We played good. We right now we're struggling, and I don't think we're very good at anything.
Now the Badgers,
we're very average, and so go ahead.
The Badgers have fired offensive coordinator Phil Longo with 2 games left, and I know that everyone here is a little perplexed by the decision to do that and the timing to do that. But do you think that might be part of this? You need to regress before you can truly start developing progress, Coach?
You know what? I don't understand that. I said that, I think, last week. I don't understand the thinking of letting someone go 2 weeks, your offensive coordinator go 2 weeks. If you want to eliminate or lessen his responsibilities, you could do that. But why disrupt things before the season's over? I guess I had a problem with that. And I like Phil, and I like all those coaches. But as an administrator, as a former coach, I don't understand that. No one's, I don't expect anybody to have to explain it to me. So, I don't know. You got to have answers as a head coach. You got to have answers, and you can make all these decisions, but in the end, you have to have answers, and they have to work.
Now, Derek, you also seemed a little fired up during our pre-show meeting when you called me about this 2 week remaining in the season move on from Phil Longo. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
Like I said earlier, when we did crosstalk with Rutledge and Hamilton, it just was kind of a scratch your head moment, considering those 2 huge rival games, 2 games, that we just talked about, that we're losing the trend. We've lost 4 of the last 5 against Iowa, 3 of the last 4 for the Axe in Minnesota. And we recruit heavily against those programs, and you lose the bowl practices, which we alluded to earlier in the show. I have a huge problem if you don't feel it's the right fit, the right connection, you wait until after the season. Give those kids a chance. Phil's been with them all year, all season, last year, right? That's your best chance, in my opinion, and then to be dismissive, aloof in the presser. I know he's pissed, he's upset, but to say, what does it matter? Those guys collaboratively will figure it out. That's not a good response. That's not a responsible leader to me to go finish out the season against those 2 rivals, those 2 huge games, to give yourself a chance to get into a bowl game and get those extra practices, have some advantage in recruiting if you beat Nebraska and or Minnesota.
I assume it's philosophy that was different between him and Longo, because if it was performance-based, you'd fire more than him.
But do your due diligence, right, Tarek? No. If it's philosophy, you fire your O-line coach, which he obviously gave that to Longo to make that decision, right?
Yep.
So that guy's gone. And then you really he's got to be more involved, is where I'm going with this, with the offense going forward.
The defense.
You know what? Actually,
go ahead, Coach.
You could do whatever you want to do as a head coach. To me, he could have fired him without publicly firing him. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You could have eliminated his responsibility.
Let him go look.
There's no disruption within your team, and publicly, and embarrassing him. But I just thought it was very awkward.
No question. And the defense, I was going to say the defense underperformed. They were awful the last 2 games. I know they played hard. It seemed like they put all their eggs in the Oregon basket. And then after that, we've just got – any time a team focused on the run game, we were on roller skates. and they take us any which way they wanted to go. And that was so disappointing to me that we're not there. I know we're depleted in the defensive line, but I don't know. I just think that we seem like we have 2 down linemen every time, and I like to see at least 3. And we don't set the edge. It's embarrassing. It's flat out embarrassing what our defense does, and they should look at that as hard as they're doing the offense.
Badgers allowed 30.8 points per game down the stretch, that 5-game losing streak that Wisconsin had to end the season, which, Coach, you laugh at that. How you doing?
I didn't realize that. That's hard to hear.
Yeah, it was hard. It just doesn't feel like anything really clicked at the end. And so, coming back, I want to get your thoughts on this, kind of controlling the narrative. How do we kind of build into a successful season next year?
I just want to expand on Tarek. I mean, nobody has talked about the defense all year. Yeah, they had a great game against Oregon, right? But and Penn State for that matter, but they were 12th in yards per game in the Big Ten. The offense was 11th. And to Coach's point, they're not very good at anything. When you're 11th and 12th in the league in offense and defense, then your last 2 games you don't have an OC offensively, and not that that's an excuse, but probably in my mind, my opinion, could have given them a better chance.
Well, you know where they finished in the Big Ten? 13th total. There are 4 teams below them in the Big Ten. It was UCLA, Penn State, not even Rutgers. I don't remember the other 2 teams. So it was just a really lackluster and not super exciting way to end the season. I sat in with my partner's family in North Carolina. They're all Ohio State grads, and we watched the game, and everyone was getting all up, and they acted like the sky had fallen when they lost their rivalry game. And yes, we're all kind of bummed about it, but there was not the same heat seemingly from the players going into this game. There was no brawl after the game. There was no fight. There was no passion. The team seemed resigned to the fact that they were going to lose. But you're never going to lose when you go to the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company. Get more for your pour. It is a Madison original, brewing award-winning craft beers for 30 years. And now every Monday through Thursday from 3 until 6 p.m., enjoy a 20-ounce pint of one of their flagship beers for only $3 from the Crop Circle Wheat to the Good Dog IPA.
Bring it back, man.
And the Old Glory APA. Head to one of their locations, Hilldale, downtown, Eastside, or come join us right here at Fitchburg and enjoy a bigger and better happy hour. We're talking about the narrative and moving forward from this ugly season next. It is the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN.
More of the Great Dane Huddle with Badgers legend and special guest host Barry Alvarez is coming up on 100.5 ESPN.
Greg Scalzi here for Total Athlete Performance. They're here to provide elite performance training for serious athletes in the Madison area. And there's a new Verona TAP facility open inside of the Verona Athletic Center. Summer speed, agility, and semi-private options are now available at both Verona and Windsor locations, and now offering monthly subscription payment options. Plus, you can download the new Total Athlete Performance app for remote training options all year round. Visit tapwisconsin.com. That's tapwisconsin.com.
Janesville Kia, located right off Interstate 90, is only minutes away from Madison. At Janesville Kia, they're here to help, treating people the way they'd like to be treated. That's why they're up 78% in Kia sales over last year. Come see firsthand why people all over Wisconsin have experienced the difference of Janesville Kia and told their friends. Check out Kia's groundbreaking lineup of award-winning vehicles with an industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Experience the difference that great customer service makes today at Janesville Kia.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Join the Madison Area Sports Commission live and in person for Good Morning Sports, the heritage behind Strongman. On December 4th, meet two Strongman legends, 4-time World's Strongest Man, Magnus Ver Magnuson, and Lynn Morehouse, owner of Train Strongman. Registration donations benefit MASC Youth Grant to get kids into sports. Join us at the Sheridan Madison on December 4th and register at madison.com/GMS. This event is sponsored by American Family Insurance and Oak Bank, supported by ESPN Madison and produced by the Madison Area Sports Commission.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Like, share, and follow ESPN Madison everywhere. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for more great content from ESPN Madison. This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
She lives for me, says she lives for me, ovation. Who motivation? She comes out and she goes down to me. And
tonight's Great Dane Huddle poll question: what is a realistic 5-year plan, a goal for the Badgers? College football national championship. 3% of you say that, which I think is perhaps way out of line at this stage. 12-team playoff. 58% of people think the 12-team playoff within the next 5 years is doable. 5% think finishing, or 30% think finishing top 5 in the Big Ten, and 9% think a realistic goal would be a bowl game. This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPN Madison, the Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez, driven by Janesville Kia. I'm Alex Grad alongside Derek Engler, Tarek Saleh, and of course, Coach Barry Alvarez. And Derek, given those 4 options, championship, playoff, top 5 in Big Ten, and just get back to a bowl game, where are you feeling right now? Heat check. Which of those do you think is the most realistic?
I'm not feeling very good, obviously, but I would. You can turn this around, especially in this right now in this era of college football. You know, you get some guys, you get the right staff, everybody's on the same page, and I think Coach Fickell. I mean, he has the determination, he has the focus, He's got to make sure his staff is all on the same page offensively and defensively, and you get a few guys. 2 years in a row you lose your starting quarterback. That's never good. Not that that's everything, but I will tell you, in this environment of college football today, nothing would surprise me. Hell, we were 5-7. We had two of the top 4 teams on the ropes in the camp, Oregon and Penn State.
And I'll tee Coach up with this, but you have to know your identity, who you are, and evaluate talent. We're going to have a set amount of dollars. I don't care what it is, $5 million, $3 million, $4 million. Everybody else has the same amount of money or more. So you got to find guys like, Derek and I are a little broke, a little bit. We got a little a black
Screw
guy.
Loose. Well, you need your grinders like Tarek and I. You need those, but then you got to go get some werewolves.
But you got to get value. You got to get great value, Coach. What do you say? How you built the program, and you find some studs underneath all of it, right?
Well, first of all, I go back to square one. You go back to your state, and you make sure that every good player in your state stays home. And I don't know if that's a priority right now. And then you better have some guys on your staff that have relationships in areas. Like Bernie Wyatt out east, and Dan McCarney in Minnesota, and I'm pointing to you two guys because you understand what I'm talking about. You have to have recruiters to bring players in. You have to have guys that regardless of what your record was this year, you're going to bring some players in because the coaches like you. They're going to send your players. Guide their players towards you, and it's all about recruiting. You got to get players. It's not about going out and get a bunch of transfers, cats that want to leave someplace else for a few bucks. You get a couple of those. If it were me, if I had some guys that came in and said, I got this guy, get maybe 3 or 4 or 5 that are really good players that have established themselves someplace, I bring them in. But the rest better be guys, good high school players from areas that and that are legitimate guys, just like you two.
Coach, you bring a great point because, you think about, just let's focus on the offensive line right here in the state of Wisconsin, right? That should be a point of emphasis as far as recruiting is concerned. I wonder, and this happened with, Gary Anderson, where it was obvious. He did not see the importance of that. And we started our offensive line, the cupboard was bare here. I don't know if people understand that in the offensive line unit. It was really, really bad. Rudy got it back up and going. And I hope that Coach Fickell and his staff understand the importance of not only offensive linemen, but the coach has said this in a previous show, where you might have 6 to 8 D1 guys, something of that, number in the state that you have to keep, because it keeps that tradition going. Because as these kids grow up, they see these kids commit to their in-state school, University of Wisconsin, have pride in that. That's really, really important. And of course, going out across the country, you got to have relationships, and like Tarek and I did with the coaches that recruited us on Coach Alvarez's staff.
Yeah, the Badgers did lose a specialist, the highest rated kicker punter they've ever had commit.
No,
as left.
Good Lord! This.
We lost.
Do you ever hear this?
We lost the
punter. Violent in the world. Playing My Heart Bleeds for You.
But hey, that's an in-state guy. That's an in-state guy who's leaving, right?
Let's get a damn D lineman.
And a D lineman we got, and that's, I think, something that we can hang our hat on as Badger fans, right? Last week was tough. The Badgers go from one blowout loss against Nebraska to a really sad loss against Minnesota to borderline ruin a holiday, right? But you turn around and you look at it, that same week they land the highest-rated quarterback they've had since Graham Mertz, and a guy decommits from Michigan to come play at Wisconsin. So there's a lot that they are doing really well in the recruiting game that makes all of it kind of confusing. And I know I said this to you, Derek, off air, but if Jim Leonhard had been the coach, which is something a lot of people are asking for and have been talking about, there would have been a riot if things didn't go perfectly immediately, because we would have had to turn away a guy like Luke Fickell who has all this excitement. But B, we might be competing for a bowl game right now, sure, but we're not landing those guys. That's something that Luke Fickell is doing that is truly exciting for the program and reason to still have hope. Am I right, Coach?
Well, recruiting's the lifeblood of your program. You have to be able to recruit. And Luke has proved that, he's got a history of that. He can do that. I think it'll take time to win over the high school coaches in the state. Jimmy had a following, but I think Luke understands that our high school players are the most important thing. I made it the most important. Brett did, and you have to do that. We have to keep the best players in state at our place. And we're going to lose one or two, and that's okay. But the majority of the good players in the state have to stay home because they can play any place. And then, that just, then they have I used to say, that's back when we were trying to fill the stadium. Every one of them has people that want to follow them and come in and watch them play. So if you bring in 20 guys from in-state, they're going to bring fans with them. So it's so important. The in-state aspect of it cannot be magnified.
Coach, I had a quick question. As you probably know, we're going to 105 roster limit. Where I saw Coach Rule from Nebraska talk about this, and you may have seen it too. And obviously, the history of the walk-on, just legacy at the University of Nebraska, including our program, the University of Wisconsin, and how that's going to impact these kids because, now, the portal's already flooded, as he said. And now you're going to be limited where you're going to have to tell 20 to 30 guys, I'm sorry, we don't have a spot for you. And they're all going to enter this portal, which is already flooded. I'm curious what your thoughts are if you've seen some of that.
First of all, I'm really upset. And I don't know if anybody really fought the NC2A with putting numbers limitations on. What does it hurt? What is the reason to put a limitation on numbers? What does it hurt to have an additional 25 players on a football team? It costs no one anything, and they're not on scholarship, yet they're a part of the team. Some of them are going to end up getting scholarships. Everyone from their communities, as I used to say, these guys. They're from walk-ons from around the state. People from their community are going to get interested in the program. It's a win-win. I don't understand the NC2, and I never understood a lot of their thinking. I don't think there's any money involved here. I just don't understand their thinking in limiting the number of players on a team. Scholarships, okay, but not number of players.
Coach, what does it take for the Big Ten and the SEC and the other big conferences to come together and just push the NCAA aside and just make up their own rules?
I think they could do, if the Big Ten Southeast Conference wanted to do something, ACC would be where Jimmy Phillips is the commissioner there. He'd be right with them. If they got together and said, you know what, this is BS. We're going to have unlimited numbers, whatever you want to bring in. The NC2A ain't going to do anything. What the hell are they going to do?
Yeah, it's true.
Those are the money makers. All right, we'll keep talking about this. Plus, we've got a little bit of audio that I want to get to coming up next on the Great Dane Huddle on 100.5 ESPN.
Stay tuned. More of the Great Dane Huddle with Tarek Engler and UW Athletic Hall of Famer Tarek Saleh is coming up on 100.5 ESPN.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973, and they're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether it's the sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none and has exactly what you're looking for. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out the all-new 2024 Honda Prologue, Honda's first all-electric SUV, or browse their selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Join the ESPN Wisconsin NCAA Volleyball Tournament Challenge. Sign up on ESPN.com or the ESPN app. Join the ESPN Wisconsin group and fill out your bracket by Thursday. Grand prize package features tickets to a Wisconsin match next season. Official contest rules at ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Norman, and you know I'm watching every snap this football season with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in hand. With over 5 million people playing and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in. Make a play with just $1 or go big. Play their pick'em game, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Underdog has all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You make picks for a pick'em entry and choose if players will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 250 passing yards, or even Travis Kelce under 1.5 touchdowns. You can even win when you lose with Underdog's double flex option. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN, and join me and millions of others and win big. Must be 18 plus and present in state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
I'm Sam Daniels with Daniels Construction. I'm proud to say I'm part of the family that has owned and operated Daniels Construction for 3 generations. As you drive around southern Wisconsin, you've seen our award-winning work. We have always focused on building better futures, better people, better communities. We do that by offering youth apprenticeships, paid on-the-job training, and specialized training at our in-house training center. We are a growing company and want you to grow with us. From construction opportunities to new careers, you can browse who we are and what we have to offer at danielsco.com. That's danielsco.com.
Everybody's buzzing about Quick Trip's possibly pilfered potatoes. We have them priced so low, some say they're illegal. Swipe potato fries? Potatoes ill-gotten? Stash browns? Come on, these are not hot potatoes. But it is a quick hot savings. You might say it's a steal. No, don't say that. 99 cents for a 5-pound bag. 5 pounds of potatoes under $1? What a heist. A perfect score for those large meal gatherings. Quick Trip. We got your taters covered.
Dr. Schwab is a board-certified general surgeon who can help with many simple and outpatient procedures to alleviate varicose and spider veins. Visit StoughtonHealth.com to learn more. StoughtonHealth.com. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
The Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez.
I'd love to be in a game like that. I'd love to coach a game like that.
Oh, man.
They may not see a pass in the second half.
Subscribe to the Great Dane Huddle podcast on Wisconsin On Demand and wherever you get your podcasts.
Doesn't change a whole lot because
deep down inside, if people believe in who you are and what you're doing, then they'll have some blind faith that whatever you do moving forward, it'll be a good thing.
That was Coach Luke Fickell after firing his offensive coordinator, Phil Longo, just 2 weeks ago. And now, I know neither of you heard that as you were chumming it up off air. Tarek and
we were talking about a year ago we were in Arizona, and this weather here, I mean, Coach doesn't have to worry about any of that. Although I think there was a little cold spell. It might have got down to the upper 60s, lower 70s down there.
Yeah, Coach, you can see it on YouTube right now.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got his quarter zip on. He's looking bundled up. My goodness, I'm so sorry for you in the blistering 65-degree heat that you're encountering.
It's a little chilly out here on the deck.
Great. So yeah, we came in, we bumped in with some audio, which it's only 9 seconds. We'll play it again real quick. But after firing offensive coordinator Phil Longo, Luke Fickell had this to say about why people should still be interested in the Wisconsin Badgers program.
Right, it doesn't change a whole lot because deep down inside, if people believe in who you are and what you're doing, then they'll have some blind faith that whatever you do moving forward, it'll be a good thing.
Ooh. Now, Coach, you had a tough start to your career as you reinvented the Wisconsin program. But did you ever expect people to have blind faith in what you were doing?
I don't know what that means. I'm an old Nebraska guy. I'm an old linebacker from Nebraska. I don't know what that blind faith means. I just wanted people to hang in there and just have trust. And I think that's what he's asking. He's in his second year. Just trust him. And because he knows he's going to make decisions. You make choices. You make a million decisions during the game. He knows how to make decisions and live with them. And so, if you make too many mistakes in those decisions, you're not a decision maker anymore.
Yeah, Coach, I don't understand what that means either. Although it's one thing, I guess this is what the analogy I would say, when you got hired, and everybody's heard this thousands of times, you better get season tickets now. Before long, you won't be able to get them. But that's probably when you got here. I guess that would be a blind faith. But 2 seasons and we regressed, right, this year. So
yeah,
you throw the blind faith out there. I don't know. I mean,
I think he's, like we talked earlier, that he believes that he's going to get the right talent in here. He thinks the coaching is going the right direction, and they have the plan. They just need to get the guys that they want and need in order to make it happen. Now, that remains to be seen. We talked about evaluating talent, and you got dollars to spend. How this whole thing goes, will determine his success.
And you have to coach that talent up. Obviously, the Badgers' season comes to an end. My goodness, the Badgers' season comes to an end. But it's not all over. We will be here next week. We will be talking about this for the rest of the entire football season.
We got to get this dialed up where we can talk to Coach during breaks.
We got to
get that figured out.
We'll have Jesse Nelson, Poindexter millionaire, or whatever we want to call him. Whitey Tidies over there will figure that out. But this has been the Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933.